All right, I want to start off today by saying thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules and joining us today. I know it's a hectic time for most, especially right now. My name is Jess, and I'm the marketing manager here at Index.io. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, just place them into the chat window and we'll answer them at the end. We'll also be recording this, and a link to the recording will be included in the follow-up email. So I'm sure it's no secret to any of you that the legal world is facing a boatload of challenges with electronic discovery. Challenges like data accessibility, scalability, management, and overwhelming costs. And these challenges are the exact reason Index.io was created. We took the latest technologies and made the most comprehensive e-discovery tool in the industry. So what's so special about us? Well, Index.io is a true do-it-yourself intuitive platform. This means you can get up and running in minutes without ever talking to a sales rep or even utilizing a project manager. We also cut traditional processing times from days to minutes with our auto scale technology. Need to fire up Index.io on the go? Not a problem. We offer a free mobile iPad app that is easy, intuitive, and secure. You can literally review, code, redact, and organize your e-discovery documents no matter where you are. Index.io is also the only e-discovery solution that provides a daily hosting model. So what does this mean? Well, it means you have more predictable billing, easier project management, and no minimum hosting charges. There are also no long-term restricting contracts, no licensing fees, no user fees, and no minimums per month. And now for the main event. Austin, our support representative here at Index.io, and Julia Shapiro, CEO at Hire and Esquire, are going to interview each other, discussing specifics about each business and our new partnership. Austin?
All right, thanks for that intro, Jess, and thanks everybody for joining us today. We're here with Julia. Julia, can you start and give us just a quick overview of Hire and Esquire? Tell me what your company is all about.
Sure, and thanks to both of you for having me on this webinar today. I am, as you said, I am Julia Shapiro. I'm the CEO of Hire and Esquire, and we are an online legal staffing platform. We help law firms, in-house legal departments, and legal service companies instantly connect with an on-demand or permanent legal workforce. And we do this through using data and analytics to make very data-driven matches. We assess all of our attorneys for soft skills, and we also analyze our jobs for what soft skills are needed. So we're matching attorneys to roles, attorneys and paralegals to roles based not on just their hard skills and expertise, but also their soft skills.
Interesting. So you're the CEO of this company. What's that role like? What are you involved with, day to day?
Everything. So I take a very active role in sales at our company and understanding our clients, learning about the market, learning about what they need. As a result, I'm also working very closely with our development team on the product and how we better build our product to suit our clients' needs. And I'm also just staying very on top of what's going on in the legal industry for how our company can adapt and best help our clients.
Gotcha. So very hands-on, exactly kind of what you'd like to see from the CEO. Go ahead.
We're a team of 9 people, so it comes with the territory.
Gotcha. Yeah, the small team, that definitely has a lot of people filling many roles. So how does Hire and Esquire solve problems for its users? What solutions are you offering to your clients?
So we solve a variety of different challenges. I would say one of the main challenges we solve that's particularly important right now with everything that's going on, a very quickly changing environment, and most likely we're at the beginning of a very steep economic downturn. One of the things we've always helped our clients do, and we started in 2011 within the last recession, is we help our clients scale basically their business costs to their business demand. So we help law firms stay very flexible and agile, as well as legal departments and legal service companies. So you can make your workforce and the amount you're spending on talent fit your actual business demands. So I would say that is one of the main reasons that we have a very large base of small law firms and in-house legal departments that need to be very agile for their clients and business demands. I would say that's one of the main pain points we solve. Within that pain point, another problem we solve for our clients is getting that right fit. So I'm sure you're familiar with this from other jobs. Sometimes, it only takes one person in the workplace to really ruin the atmosphere and the culture. I don't know if you've experienced that before.
Yeah, that's something that we keep key. We're a small team as well here. We have 4 people in the office daily. So, culture is king.
Exactly. And that's the same thing for a lot of our small clients. I mean, it's true in large organizations, but you really feel that within law firms and in-house legal departments of, 1 to 5 attorneys or 1 to 20 attorneys. So we have developed something over time, which is essentially Moneyball for legal staffing. And it uses about a century of industrial organizational psychology research, assessing soft skills or traits to predict workplace performance. So since 2016, we've been building and testing soft skill assessments for lawyers based on both a very established body of research as well as legal industry specific research to assess attorneys and match them where they'll be the best fit within an organization. So with that, we've very much solved the pain point for our clients of some of the uncertainty of hiring and helping them make better hires that fit better within their organization and are more productive at the types of roles that they're hiring for.
Gotcha. So better fits for the staffing that you're doing, more directed towards the specific needs of each client. What would you say the number one thing that your users like about that model in Hire and Esquire?
So again, it's hard to say just one thing, but I think again, the top two things would be one, the agility that it gives them. So allowing them to build a really good business and have the talent available and the capacity available when they need it, so they don't have to turn clients away. So being able to essentially, step up to the plate and hit with the big players is what they get to do. We have a lot of former big law attorneys, former big law partners that use our product, and they're able to build that bench of attorneys that very much gives them the strength that they had at a big law firm. So that the agility is one thing. And I think within that agility is, again, the fit. Since we do offer such a insightful fit that's unusual from what they could get from their own ability to hire or from other staffing agencies, they really can have that team that fits in on demand and is very, very elastic and turnkey, where they don't have to worry as much about getting the wrong fit and not putting that perfect person on a role that might happen sometimes when you're using flexible staffing.
I see. How long has the company been around? When did you guys get founded?
For almost a decade now. So we officially launched in 2011, although we were building out the platform and starting to build a network of attorneys in 2010. So we've been operating for about a decade.
Long time. Why did you guys decide to build kind of an alternative staffing option? What was going on in the industry that you found this was going to be a good solution that people were going to look to compared to traditional options?
So it was really inspired just both by the way tech has been and was moving forward, even back in 2009 and 10 when I was practicing law, as well as the last recession. So I was working at a large law firm back in 2009. I saw the industry changing. I saw the market changing. I saw a lot more flexible staffing being used by law firms of all sizes. A lot of my peers who weren't able to get jobs out of law school were working for boutique law firms they found on Craigslist legal jobs. I was at a large AM Law 200 firm. We had about 200 contract attorneys in one office alone. And I was eventually assisting with staffing. And I saw that the staffing agencies were very much the same as they had been mid-century. They hadn't evolved for the current needs and talent other than very interchangeable talent like secretaries, which is what they were built to staff. So I saw the need to make a more tech-forward, simple product that would also be accessible to not just large law firms, but would be accessible to small law firms that had these kind of smaller short-term jobs and didn't have the budget for a staffing agency like larger law firms.
Gotcha. Have other options similar to your company arisen since then?
Nothing quite the same. A few other marketplaces have attempted to rise into the legal market. Most of them have fallen. And I think we're one of the few still standing online legal staffing marketplaces. There's obviously a ton of brick and mortar and boutique concepts. Sometimes people will call themselves platforms, but they're essentially one or two people who have a spreadsheet and emails to find other attorneys, and it's very different than me.
Very manual process compared to what you guys have set up.
Then log in, post a job, instantly get matched with people. And we have the largest network. So we have 12,000 attorneys verified and vetted across the country, as well as paralegals and legal assistants. And we have over 1,200 clients as well. So nobody has built a marketplace. No one's come even close to building a marketplace with the amount of verified, vetted, curated talent and clients as we have.
So you talked a little bit about kind of the diversity and the wide group that you have to pull from for these staffing options. What else would you say contributed to your success? What's kept you guys around in this industry when so many other places have fallen and kind of tried and not really branched into the market like you have?
I think there's two things, because there's we had one or two large competitors that got a lot of money and a lot of funding and came from had prominent pedigreed VCs behind them or incubators. And then we've had people who have been tried to do bootstrapped on the side while they're still practicing law. So I think for the larger players, we had more realistic expectations of what our market was. And we also complied very diligently with the professional responsibility rules. So we are structured as a staffing agency, and that makes us compliant with Model Rule 5.4 about fee sharing. The rules in law against fee sharing do allow for staffing and placement agencies. So we went through the trouble and the work of actually being structured like a staffing agency, where we're insured like a staffing agency. The majority of our contractors are actually employed by us as the employer of record. We provide the insurance as staffing agencies, provide the professional liability and guarantee our workers, which the larger people who got a lot of funding, they tried to kind of violate the rule and open up their platform to small businesses that didn't have representation in violation of 5.4. And they also didn't quite respect how conservative the market was and how they like to work. On the other hand, the kind of bootstrap marketplaces that were people who were, still keeping their other jobs and trying to outsource the development. Again, this is something that's just you really need to be all in. We have a team of 9 people that are working full-time, constantly, customer support, really doing everything to make the experience great for everybody. And our engineers are working very closely with our recruiters and and me and our compliance team. So I think that on one side of the market, you need to really respect how slow the market is to change, and that you need to comply with all the regulations. And you can't do this as a part-time side project. You have to be all in with a full-time team that's working every day with your customers, with your attorneys, with your paralegals, to make sure it's a great experience and make sure you're building and iterating the product accordingly.
Interesting. So it sounds like some of these other companies have maybe had pieces of what you've done, but they weren't really geared to be a full-fledged staffing agency, and certainly didn't, it sounds like, have the resources and the accessibility that you guys have had. Something you've mentioned in our talks before is psychometrics and predictive hiring. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So part of our 9-person team is an industrial organizational psychology practitioner, Eric Fox, who actually studied for his master's degree with the professors that took Moneyball for baseball into other major league sports. And what he worked very closely with our recruiting and product team to develop were soft skill assessments. So industrial organizational psychology, and even what a lot of people know about as Moneyball in sports, is very much about looking at different traits or factors or characteristics that contribute to success or that predict performance. So for instance, in sports, in baseball, it might be something like how many times people got on base versus other metrics people looked at. In more white collar workplace performance, it works off of the Big Five personality model that you might be familiar from the Cambridge Analytica scandal during the election. They used the Big Five personality model. Basically what it is it looks at people's personality traits, and also called competencies, assesses those, and then figures out and then looks at how those correlate to workplace performance. So there's a lot of research on this. As I said before, almost a century of research on this. And it is very widely heralded as a way to predict performance and is best hiring practice and having much higher success rates than resumes. So we built assessments into our platform to assess these soft skills from our attorneys and paralegals, and then match them with jobs where they will best perform based on their soft skills. And we do this through 3 parts. We triangulate data from a soft skill assessment that the candidate takes, assessing their own soft skills. Then we ask similar questions to assess the traits to their references. All of our contractors have to get 3 references, 3 professional references of people that have worked with them. Then we do a structured behavioral interview, which isn't necessarily looking for a certain answer to a question, but how people answer them. And those 3 factors triangulate to give our soft skill assessment. And then as people work through our platform, we ask our clients for reviews, but not the kind of 5 stars, yes, no. We ask them how they performed on the job, and ask them questions that would better tell us that would better assess their soft skills. And then that validates our assessments. So that is how we assess our attorneys. And then obviously our jobs, similar research is behind assessing what skills match with those jobs. Then our attorneys are matched with those jobs accordingly.
Interesting. So to kind of summarize, it sounds like you guys have taken a very complex process, this kind of analysis of the skills of your various attorneys that you are trying to place at these companies, and you've run this analysis and you use that to match these staff members specifically based on the requirements of these projects that are coming in and the requirements of the clients to get them kind of the best fit of an attorney. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Excellent. It's a really interesting model. So how has that kind of changed the way that law is practiced for attorneys and paralegals? How's it shaking up the market?
So I would say it's not necessarily that we were shaking up the market. The market was already being shaken up. As you can see from the slides, about 20% of legal payroll dollars have been spent on contingent talent, and that number is only increasing. So the market was already changing, and then we built a product that helps better support those changes in the market. So I would say that our attorneys and paralegals are very excited about the access to jobs they have all over the country. 74% of our projects are remote right now. Actually, 100% are right now at the moment, but pre-COVID.
Yeah, prior any of this.
Yes. So we did open up a lot more remote work opportunities, and we also did really open up the market for small firms. For a lot of our smaller firm clients, we are the first time they have ever worked with a staffing agency. So that also has provided more job opportunities for people all across the country smaller firms tend to be more flexible with remote work and who they will work with and how many hours they require. So I would say from shaking up the existing changes, we offered more remote options and we helped connect people from disparate geographic areas more than any other agency or flexible staffing concept had done in the past.
So wide scale accessibility, better metrics and matching of clients. What would you say then is to kind of summarize is kind of the goal of Hire an Esquire? Where would you take it from there?
Sure. I think the goal for our clients is to help them build better, more efficient law firms with better talent that can help support them in the new era of law, which is very different than the last era of law. For our attorneys, it's to give them more career freedom and autonomy. So instead of having a recruiter be the gatekeeper to their career, they have a lot more autonomy to see what jobs are available, to apply for them, to talk to clients directly, and to build a diverse career portfolio. I think a lot of us who are attorneys, we saw in the last downturn that we couldn't necessarily depend on one firm, and the model of working at a law firm, making partner, probably wasn't going to be very stable for our careers moving forward, a lot of us millennial attorneys. So I think for attorneys, we are giving them an option to build a diverse career portfolio, both of experiences, connections, and clients, and give them just more control, autonomy, and hopefully, in a weird way, even though it's flexible staffing, predictability and options as they move forward in their career.
Gotcha. So not only providing benefit to your clients, but also helping build a wider skill set for the attorneys that are working with you.
100%, yes.
Fantastic. Well, that's all the questions I have for Hire an Esquire. Do you have any questions about Indexed.io I can help answer?
Yes, quite a few.
All right, let's jump in.
I'd love for you to talk a bit more about how Indexed.io helps lawyers and law firms.
Yeah, so our main goal is we try to make data review easy. We take large amounts of complex data, whether that's system images, cell phone data, emails, PDFs, scanned documents, spreadsheets, whatever electronic data you have, we load it into our system and we do it very quickly and we make it easy to review. We have a lot of great UI tools, search features, project management features, batching. We take all of this complex data, we put it in one location for you, we give you as much information about it as we can so that you can review it, find what's relevant, get rid of what's not, and get it back out in a production quickly and easily.
Great. And with that, so I know I've spoken a bit how we have quite a few small firm clients, and I know that we've recommended you to quite a few of them. I'd love for you to speak a little bit more about how you help small law firms who might not have the resources for larger e-discovery products, or might be too small of projects for other consultants to consider.
Sure. So from the ground up, Indexed.io was built to be a do-it-yourself platform. So we have great training resources available, great tutorial articles. It's very, very easy to get up and running in the system. You don't have to be a DBA or know how to use SQL or hire someone specific to manage your database for you. It's really meant so that lawyers, paralegals, anyone can get in, learn how to use it in 30 minutes to an hour and take it from there. Another thing that helps out these smaller firms is that we don't do user licenses or contracts or fees like that. It's all based on what you use. So each project is built individually. There's no user licenses, so everyone on your team can create an account, get in, access the data. It's all cloud-based, so you can access it from anywhere, which is, in times like this, very critical to have, cloud access wherever you are in the world to be able to get in and manage your data. So those would be the three things. I think that it's built to be do-it-yourself. It's built to be user-friendly. There's no complex billing system. It's really just pay it as you use it. If you have a case that happens to have a ton of electronic data, you're just going to need to use it the one time. You don't have to buy a license or a machine or hardware specific, and then it's just sitting at your office doing nothing the other, 50, 75% of the time. It's really just available on demand as you need it.
Wonderful. So yes, I think that is important to mention, that it's easy and simple. You don't need an in-house tech team to do this, which is, I know, a fear of a lot of our clients, and that it is very much pay as you go. You're not locking somebody into this SaaS contract where they're paying something consistently. I think that's really important.
Exactly. And we don't just leave you on your own with the system. It is kind of a SaaS model, a software as a service. But the unique thing about us is that you're only paying for it when you're using it. If your case goes away, you delete your project, all of your costs disappear. You're not continuing to pay for licenses or, space for data that you may or may not end up using. We try to help you get up and running in the system, and we're here to help and support you throughout that whole process.
Completely. Yes, that's an important distinction. It is a SaaS product, but it's not a SaaS billing model, is what I meant to say.
Correct, yeah.
And then you described a little bit about uploading data and the actual, the details. But can you tell me bigger picture what types of tasks and objectives IndexIO helps your clients accomplish?
Yeah, so one thing that I see quite a lot of is email collection and review. You have a set of emails that you need to review for attorney-client privilege or, whatever other items you need to identify in there. And so some things that our system will do is, as a built-in IMAP email collector, you can put in the credentials for an email account. It'll suck it all in over the internet. You don't have to download, upload anything, access Outlook. It just does it for you. It sucks it into the project. Extracts all of the email headers, the to, the from, the CC, the subject, lets you search all of that and quickly get down to the specific set that you need. So email data in particular, the system is very good at handling. And something unique to us that I don't really see other cloud-based e-discovery platforms doing is that our system scales automatically. Every time you process data, every time you kick off a production, it's spinning up a specific server environment to handle that set of data just for you. It's not working on anyone else's data. It just builds that environment, processes all of your data. If you add more, it's going to build a second environment to handle that. So it really automatically handles a lot of that scaling. So you don't have to buy, in the past, 10, 15 licenses if you want to run 15 machines processing your data all at once. You don't have to do that anymore. You can come to our system, just add the data. Once it's uploaded, you can close your browser, close your computer, walk away. It's all handling it on our end now, and you'll just get an email alert letting you know when it's ready for you.
So it very much sounds like the AWS of e-discovery.
Very much. We actually leverage AWS servers quite a bit on the back end. So that's very accurate.
Yes, we do too. So very much understood. So I think you probably got into a little bit of why you all decided to build IndexIO. Can you share any other ways that this is different from other e-discovery platforms and made you decide, hey, we need to build something different?
Yeah, something I've mentioned, so we're very much user-friendly. It's meant to be like a do-it-yourself platform. We don't want to be training database managers for every case that they need to get in and handle. It's on demand, so you can access it anywhere. It scales automatically, so you get, the full processing power of the system no matter where you are, what time. And it's very easy to learn. Something I like to mention in these is that training, it only takes about 30 minutes if you're, a fairly tech-savvy user, even if you're just brand new to e-discovery in general, and you've never used any sort of review platform, data management, e-discovery platform. I can get you trained and running in the system in less than an hour. And for those people who are already kind of, project managers or database managers, the SQL people, or, the more techie programmer type people, I've seen people pick up the system in 10, 15 minutes and, they're off to the races with it.
Amazing. So you've like a 10 to 30 minute setup time. And with that, I'd like to ask a little bit more. Again, this is coming from our experience with we have some smaller clients that really aren't the most tech savvy. They have trouble with some things that might be really obvious to digital natives. Can you tell me a little bit about what in practicality your support model looks like? If I'm a small solo, I'm having trouble, I'm frustrated, how do I get in touch with you to help?
Yeah, so right on the sidebar, we've got some great contact us options during business hours. You can use our live chat feature, which will connect you with a support representative. You can quickly type and ask questions about, why is my search results looking like this? How can I find emails from this person? Same thing with phone support. If you'd rather chat with someone, ask a little bit more complex questions. So during business hours, you can pretty much always get in touch with someone who will talk to you and walk you through whatever you're trying to do in the platform, and that's all included. There's no additional cost for that. We also offer, obviously, after hours, if there's emergency issues, you can submit support tickets to us, and we'll have someone follow up with you as soon as they're available. If it's an emergency, you can escalate the ticket, and we'll get in touch with you. So you're never really on your own. We don't want our users to feel like they're on an island. It is a service that we're providing, and we're here to assist with anything.
Fantastic. Is there anything you can share about how many users you have, or how much data you've helped with over the years?
Yeah, so there's an interesting section on our website that you might want to check out if that's what you're into. It's called Data Metrics. If you go to our main website, www.index.io, go to Resources and then Data Metrics. This will give you a breakdown of like how many emails we see per gigabyte, how many of those emails are actually viewable, what other data types we're seeing in there. It kind of gives you a breakdown of like what's a typical gigabyte look like, and we're always kind of aggregating and updating that information. Just based on the bulk amount of data we see go through. But in a typical year, we see terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data go through. I've helped clients get, what was it? I think there was like a 10 terabyte case that we managed to push through in just a couple of weeks. It was like 1 or 2 people working on their project, and they pushed just a massive amount of data through, had hundreds and hundreds of search terms that they had to run that we scripted out for them. And really, it was a case that a larger firm even would have had trouble dealing with, just volume-wise, that we were able to get through in less than a month.
Wonderful. And can you speak a little bit to how you help people call their data and get it from these almost unmanageable terabytes of data for big or small firms and get it down to a manageable amount of data to review?
Yeah, so we do a lot of identification of things like that up front. So any data the system can't handle, it's going to get tagged as a processing exception right away. So it'll say, hey, there's some stuff that you might want to come take a look at. Maybe it was password protected, maybe it was encrypted. Maybe it was just damaged files, but we make all of that available. We pull it into a special section for them. We also do a lot of identification of personal information up front. So you'll get potential credit card numbers, potential social security number patterns. Those get identified in the data, and we'll tag those items for your review. We extract text to make it searchable. We build really great charts and graphs from your data. You can see a breakdown of how many different types of files are in there. There's a cool email communication chart where you can say, show me the top 20 people in this email account, who's talking to who, and it'll give you a nice graphical breakdown of that information. So processing, that initial ingestion step, really takes care of a lot of that for you up front before you even touch your data. It finds what's usable, finds what's not, finds what you might want to take a closer look at, and it just gives you all that information so you can review it and kind of plan your review from there.
Completely. And a lot of that graphing sounds like it would be really helpful for case strategy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think that's all of the questions I have. Is there anything else that I've missed that you'd like to highlight?
I think that just about covers it. Index.io and Hire and Esquire, both, very powerful tools for the smaller to medium-sized law firms. Companies that might not necessarily have the resources, but still need to get the technology and those tools in order to compete in the current market. So thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us today, answer some questions. I haven't seen any Q&A or chat questions come in. If anyone's on the live link watching and wants to ask any questions, now is your time. Julia, again, thank you very much for your time. Yeah, and stay healthy out there. I know it's kind of crazy world right now.
Yes. Likewise, stay healthy, stay sane, working from home and shelter at home once that hits Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect time for services like ours, on demand, access anywhere, stay in the safety of your own home. Don't be spreading, germs and whatnot around or exposing yourself. We're trying to make all those resources available from anywhere. So
Exactly. And I'll note as well, I know I mentioned that 74% of our projects are remote. If you head over to our website and our blog, we have quite a few resources on what we've learned about remote work and project management that's built into our platform that can help law firms as well. And we are also hosting a webinar tomorrow on remote work that will be available for download later, and it's tailored specifically to the concerns of the legal industry.
All right, amazing. I'll have to check that out.
Great. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks again, Julia. We'll have our next webinar next month. Be sure to take a look and sign up for that, and we'll talk to you then.